Chapter 1. Humphrey the Horrible was a ghost. Actually, his name was simply Humphrey, but he had added the Horrible because he thought it would help him to become horrible, which at present he was not. Nobody knew what had gone wrong with Humphrey. Perhaps it was his ectoplasm. Ectoplasm is the stuff that ghosts are made of, and usually it is a ghastly, pale, slithery nothingness, a bit like the slime trails left by slugs in damp grass, or the mist that rises out of disgusting moorland bogs. But Humphrey's ectoplasm was a peachy pink colour and reminded one of lamb's wool or summer clouds. And then his eye sockets didn't leer or glare, they twinkled, and the sounds of his finger bones jangling together made a tinkling noise like little bells. His parents, who naturally wanted him to be frightful and ghastly and loathsome like all the best ghosts, worried about him quite a lot. "I can't think why he has turned out like this," his mother would say. Humphrey's mother was a hag. Hags have hook noses and crooked backs and scaly black wings, and when they move, they give off the most dreadful smells. It was nothing for Humphrey's mother to smell of mouldy tripe, unwashed armpits, and minced maggots in a single afternoon. Humphrey's father would try to comfort her. "Don't worry so much, Mabel," he would say. "The boy's probably a late developer." Humphrey's father was a Scottish ghost. He had been killed fighting in the Battle of Otterburn in 1388. This was a very bloody battle in which the English and the Scots killed each other in all sorts of unpleasant ways. Both of Humphrey's father's legs had been cut off by a cruel English baron right at the beginning of the battle, but he had gone on fighting on his stumps until another wicked Englishman put a sword through his chest. Now he was called the Gliding Kilt, because when you looked at him, all you could see was the bottom of his kilt and then a space where his legs weren't. He was a very impressive ghost and a good father. But the hag, like most mothers, was a great worrier, and she wouldn't be comforted. "He's not a bit like George or Winifred," she moaned. George was Humphrey's older brother, and he was a screaming skull. Screaming skulls are just a skull with no body attached to it. If you try to bury a screaming skull, it just screams and screams until you dig it up. They scream if you try to move them, too, or if anyone is coming that they don't like the sound of. In fact, they scream most of the time, and the noise they make sounds like 7 or 8 people having their insides pulled out, so that someone who has heard a screaming skull scream is never quite the same again. Naturally, this made them rather proud of George.